this made this thing about bad Muslims and good Muslims. Millions of Muslims do not follow the Quran as uh, Allah asks them to. So they are bad Muslims. Millions of Muslim women do not dress as Allah commands them to. They are not following the Quran. So I would venture on to say that majority of the Indian Muslims or majority of the Muslims around the world are not following the Quran. It would be almost impossible, even maybe even Taliban find it very difficult to follow the Quran. But the thing is, the Quran exists. It is the global energy minimum. It is the go-to. So, and the moderates do not condemn or do not say that this um, commandment or this order is wrong. This should not be followed. They do not say that it is wrong to have death for apostasy. They do not say that it is wrong to kill homosexuals. They do not say all those things. They do not condemn a verse. So that verse exists to be used by the extremists. That was the point. As far as Ambedkar is concerned, I myself said that to bring it to contemporary and to say all Muslims do not have allegiance to India. I myself said that is wrong. But of all the statements that Ambedkar has made on Muslims, and of all the statements that Gandhi or Nehru and other people who've shied away from telling the truth at that point of time as it existed, I would rate what Ambedkar had said far and above all the other statements that were made on Islam and on Muslims by any other political leader. It is not to reject Ambedkar or to reject anyone, but it is to contradict what he has said or what she has said. So it is not that people or I or anyone am interested in quoting Ambedkar because he or she is Ambedkar. I could be quoting somebody else. I quoted Karl Marx on his two nation theory of 1853. I have quoted Sir Syed. The important thing is the people who disagree with that should contradict either Ambedkar or Karl Marx or anybody else who makes a comment on Islam. Thanks.
Thank you, Anand sir. I think Sushant sir will now be having a lot of points in order to speak. Before that, I would like to say that Arzu Kazmi ma'am is also over here. She will also join up in a bit of time. And after Sushant sir, Raman sir, I'm coming towards to you. And Tariq Fateh ji will also be joining us in a bit of time. Thank you, sir. Please, Sushant sir.
Okay, so I just had a couple of very limited points to something which Anand was saying. One was on Pakistan and General Ziaul Haq, a much reviled man. But the fact of the matter is that Zia only, in a sense, formalized something which was already existing on the ground. And in places like South Asia, using religion, uh, especially in Islamic societies, as a tool to gain power is something which is extremely convenient. And it wasn't Ziaul Haq who really started this trend. It was before him, it was the great secular leader Zulfikar Ali Bhutto who actually started it when he threw the Ahmadi community out of the pale of Islam, and he succumbed to the fundamentalists to reach out to them. And of course, the moment you reach out to the fundamentalists come back uh, to haunt you, and they were the ones who were responsible for ultimately creating a situation which led to the coup of Ziaul Haq. uh, and when we talk about this is again the mistake which we make, that just because in Pakistan there were people who would wear a three-piece suit and who would love their whiskey and chota peg in the Lahore Gymkhana or the Islamabad club, uh, did not make them secular. It did not make them modern in their outlook. And all that you need to do is ask them about uh, either India or even worse, Hindus, and see the venom pouring out. In fact, earlier it used to be the Sikhs as well, until they turned that around and spread this nonsense of how Muslims and Sikhs have always been brothers, and many of the Khalistanis actually forgot their own religion and the origins of it, and got taken in. Again, because we don't teach history, or we teach convenient history, that is why most of us are ignorant about what the reality of those relations were. But the fact of the matter remains that uh, the moment you scratch somebody, it came pouring out. I have seen it. I have seen it during my travels to Pakistan, when I'm sitting with people who, in the Pakistani context, are regarded as extremely liberal and secular. Suddenly forget that I'm also sitting out there, and they switch over into the worst kind of bigotry that you can ever imagine. So let's not get into this thing that it was Ziaul Haq who switched on something and some everybody changed overnight. It doesn't work like that. Uh, it wasn't Ziaul Haq or Bhutto, but actually Ayub Khan, who started talking about jihad during 1965 war, and one Muslim is equal to 10 Hindus. Very secular statement, wouldn't you say? Guys from Sandhurst, total, Angrez in his upbringing, or Yahya Khan, who used to love to fornicate, who loved his black dog whiskey, and all sorts of other things he used to do. But when it came to India and Hindus, please remember his statements. Or there is this minister right now, Asad Umar, his father, Ghulam Umar, uh, who was one of the orchestrators of the genocide in Bangladesh, and what these guys did. And the genocide in Bangladesh in 71 was, of course, aimed against the Bengali Muslims, but it was also aimed even more against the Bengali Hindus. So, 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 so,
can I take 10 seconds?
no, wait, 1 second, 1 second. मेरे को खत्म करने दे.
Yeah, मैं बस ये कहना चाह रहा था. I was saying about that switch for people, for Muslims, for example, Zia, for example, as you talked about Yahya Khan or Ayub Khan. I mean, they are the people.
But Anand,
for politics or otherwise, they make the switch.
But Anand, that switch works. It works much more conveniently in a place like Pakistan than it does, because the material is there. It works so much and these are societies which are 97% Muslim. Bangladesh, for example, we ignore what is happening in Bangladesh, but look at what has been happening in Bangladesh. If that is not genocide, what is? From over 25% of the population, you are under 9% today. How does that work? And nobody talks about it because it's not convenient. Because you have, quote unquote, a friendly government. Yeah, maybe she is friendly to us. But so what? The reality is the reality. And when you talk about Afghanistan, please remember Afghanistan again was traditionally an extremely conservative society. There were pockets of, of what you might call modernity in Afghanistan, but by and large, 90% of that country was still very, very orthodox and conservative and very tribal in its outlook. Syria wasn't like that. In fact, in Syria, it was, whether you say it was enforced or whatever, but there was, people in those parts are generally much more relaxed and not insecure about their religious identity, unlike a Pakistani is. When you ask a Syrian, what is he will not tell you whether he's Shia or Sunni or Alawite. He'll say, I'm a Syrian. You ask a Pakistani, you look at their Twitter handles, so one is that factor. The second is that, look, it's very easy to talk about Muslims going completely ballistic, but let's talk about the Bible Belt in the US. वो क्या कोई कम वाहियात लोग हैं क्या? So look, in societies you can latch on to a book and you can say that, look, there is this problem with this book, right? Okay, yeah, maybe, yes. But people who've read the Old Testament will tell you that there are more blood curling phrase, what do you call it, yeah, phrases, for want of a better word, what verses, right? There are more blood curling verses in that than and how you are supposed to treat gays and adultery and shit like that. Now the point is, those societies have moved away from it. Maybe not in the 15th century, maybe not in the 14th century, maybe not during the Crusades. In fact, during the Crusades, if you see, the the worst kind of savagery and barbarity was not done so much by the Muslims as it was done by the Crusaders. So the fact of the matter remains that uh, those Western societies, and I certainly don't equate being westernized with being modern in your outlook, but those Western societies evolved. And many of them said that, look, if we need to grow, then these are things which we are not going to talk about. Nobody has stricken off those verses from the Old Testament or the Bible, right? Those very much remain, and there are enough crazies in especially the US, more than any other place, but also in other parts of Christendom, who actually will resort to those verses, and who will actually incite people or excite people with those verses. Just go to any televangelist, yeah, just go to any of these characters, these pastors and all, who are into proselytization, and just see the kind of nonsense they spout. How is it any less? And yet those societies moved away. So something was happening out there which is not happening in places like Pakistan, for example, which had a very good opportunity to move away from that path into something else. And yet they've got dragged down. And what you see today, and I think Kanchan was talking about it, uh, what you are seeing on the roads of Pakistan today is the chickens coming home to roost. These are not these guys who are on the march right now. They might be fanatics, but they're not jihadists. And there's a difference between the two. These guys say that we are doing it out of the love for the Prophet. What do you do about it? And they call out the hypocrisy of the Pakistani elite, which will come and very glibly on television screen say कि आप वो रसूल की इज्जत के लिए मैं कुर्बान, मेरे बच्चे कुर्बान, मेरा खानदान कुर्बान, मेरा सब कुछ कुर्बान, बोल तो दिया, और अगले सेंटेंस में बोलेंगे लेकिन देखिए ऐसे है रियासत के लिए ना, वो हमको फ्रांस के साथ रिश्ते तो जोड़ के रखने पड़ेंगे। यार तुम बड़े अजीब आदमी हो, तुम अपने बच्चों को मरवाने को तैयार हो रसूल की हुर्मत के लिए, लेकिन फ्रांस से रिश्ते तोड़ने को तैयार नहीं हो। So when the guy on the street asks you about this hypocrisy, how do you answer back? And the only way you answer back is you resort to more Islam. So but that's not the same with many of the other Islamic societies. Erdogan was again a product uh, of certain things which were happening in Turkey. And very often, when we are discussing these things, those intricacies are very often, they kind of get glossed over, and we can't go into the roots of that. But that's the fact. Erdogan did not emerge out of nowhere. And earlier, there was a time when nobody used to vote for that party. And yet, because of the venality of the other politicians, the so-called secular politicians, uh, this guy came into power. So it's I think it's a lot more complex, but yeah, this is a debate which will continue.
Okay, thank you, Sushant sir. We also have like Arzu ma'am has joined us, and Tariq Patel sir has also joined us. Very good evening to both of you. Also, Meenakshi Sharanji joined us, but she is facing some connectivity issues, so she will again join us in a bit of time. Also, Arif Azakia sir will be joining us, and a request to all of you, like we are Team Storm Chasers, and we are hosting up a space with like it's a privilege for us of hosting such eminent speakers today. So like you can follow all the speakers over here, whoever you like, and like let's proceed forward to Raman Malik ji. Then we will move forward to Tariq ji and Arzu ji. Raman sir, welcome.
धन्यवाद Anand Bhai and Sushant Kanchanda. It is always an honor to be in your august presence. Tariq Bhai, आप बड़े हैं हम सब में से और आपको हमेशा वो इज्जत और वो दिया जाता है क्योंकि आप अपने मन की कहते हैं। I will start off with this that when this thing came over and I was sitting down सोच रहा था कि ये बना क्या कि जी कैजुअल कम्युनलिज्म और ट्रस्ट ऑन टू नेशन थ्योरी। तो जब इस विषय के ऊपर सोच रहा था, the only thought which strikes the mind is भाई ये तो बहुत ज्यादा कुछ नहीं है, ये दो लोगों की या दो पर्टिकुलर काइंड ऑफ पीपल, ये उनकी जमात का एक डिस्क्रिप्शन लग रहा है। और वो दो लोग कैसे, वो दो लोग वो जो नए नए मुसलमान बने, या वो लोग जो आज भी जिसे बोलते हैं ना सेकुलरिज्म या सेकुलरिज्म बोल लीजिए या धर्म निरपेक्षता का एक जिन्हें बीमारी लगी हुई है खानदानी बीमारी है। कई लोगों को 70 साल से है, कई लोगों को उससे पहले से भी है, लेकिन ये खानदानी बीमारी है। और वो मैं इसलिए बोलता हूं क्योंकि देखिए जो मेन as per whatever I have read, the main Islam was confined to the Middle East and from there it spread. But the Indian subcontinent per se, जो ये भारतीय landmass है, it was always a cultural nation. It was never a geopolitical state. And this cultural nation had predominantly been, a land of Hindus. Period. इसमें और कुछ था नहीं। हिंदुइज्म के अलग अलग पंथ बनते गए, वो एक अलग विषय है, क्योंकि हमारा जो जीवन दर्शन है या the vision to life that we have in the Sanatan is very wide. You have the sun temples as far as Azerbaijan. So let's understand the basic premise of it, and the basic premise is very clear, which cannot be questioned. बिल्कुल सीधी सादी बेसिक प्रेमाइस है कि हम लोग कहाँ हैं, और हम लोग एक ही जगह हैं, और वो जगह ये है कि ये जो कम्युनलिज्म का विषय है, ये एकदम जिसे कहना चाहिए ना, इट इज अ नेचुरल वे ऑफ लाइफ फॉर दीज पीपल। और ये बोलना, ये जो वो लोग हैं ना जो बोलते हैं हम सेकुलर हैं, हम सेकुलर हैं, प्रोग्रेसिव हैं, मैं उनसे ये पूछना चाहता हूं, हाउ कैन यू बी सेकुलर बिकॉज यू आर born in a particular religion? Unless and until you've read the entire religion and renounced it, you cannot become secular. तो या आप हिंदू हैं, या आप इस्लाम को का अनुसरण करते हैं, या आप क्रिश्चियनिटी का करते हैं, बौद्ध का करते हैं, सिखिज्म का करते हैं, लेकिन यू आर नॉट अ सेकुलर। Period. You can be a person tolerant of other religion, but you cannot be a secular human, because at the end of the day a lot has been said. एक बहुत अच्छे लेखक हैं, बहुत अच्छा बोलते भी हैं, तो वो बोलते हैं कि जी मैं एथिस्ट हूं, और थोड़ा थथला के बोलते हैं तो बोलते हैं मैं एथिस्ट हूं। भाई साहब, अगर आप एथिस्ट हो और आपको इस्लाम से कुछ नहीं था, तो आनंद भी बहुत अच्छा नाम है, सुशांत बहुत अच्छा नाम है, रमन भी अच्छा नाम है, ये फरहान की क्यों लेकर आया? कुछ और भी रख सकते थे। और उसके बाद मैं उस चीज पे भी आता हूं कि जहां पे बार बार हमको ये बोला जाता है, यू आर द लैंड ऑफ गांधी। Yes, we are the land of Gandhi. One Gandhi who till date was not given the certificate, but he is always called as the father of nation. And the second is the one who are chores of the first order. So हम अगर आज वापस उस चीज को देखते हैं तो उसके अंदर एक बहुत बड़ी चीज आती है साथ। और ये मैं बार बार पूछना चाहता हूं, गांधी जी की इज्जत करो, बहुत अच्छी बात है, क्योंकि उन्होंने बहुत सारे काम ऐसे करे होंगे जो इज्जत लायक हैं, लेकिन पिछले कुछ दिनों से जब से ये गांधी जी का वो एक नाम बेचने वाला और आया, क्या नाम है उसका, तुषार गांधी है क्या है, मैं वहां भी पूछना चाहता हूँ, और उसकी फिलॉसफी से, और ये जो लेफ्ट लिबरल हैं जो ये पाकिस्तान के साथ अमन की आशा का तमाशा करते हैं, मैं उनसे भी ये पूछना चाहता हूँ कि साहब ये मेरे को एक चीज बताना, गांधी जी के 3 बंदर थे। 3 बंदर कहते हैं, बुरा ना देखो, बुरा ना बोलो, बुरा ना सुनो। बहुत अच्छी बात है सर, और उसको जगह जगह बेचा भी गया सर, बहुत बढ़िया काम करा। लेकिन साहब मेरे को ये भी बता दो कि वो जो गांधी जी के दोज 3 monkeys ऑफ गांधी, they were also doing something else. They were, out of the 3, 2 were perpetually defying Gandhi's dicta every now and then. When Gandhi said "Bura na dekho" and one bandar put his hands on the eyes, बाकी 2 जो थे ना वो बैठ के बुरा देख रहे थे। जब गांधी जी ने ये बोला कि बुरा ना बोलो, तो एक ने मुंह पे हाथ रख लिया, बाकी 2 बोल रहे थे। एक ने बोला बुरा मत सुनो, वो बाकी 2 सुन रहे थे। और वो बाकी 2 जो हैं, वो 2 और चीजें साथ साथ कर रहे थे जब पहला नहीं कर रहा था। तो दैट शोज ना सिर्फ गांधी, बल्कि वो गांधी की फिलॉसफी को फॉलो करके अपने आप को बोलने वाले सेकुलरिस्ट भी ऐसे ही दोगले हैं। दे आर hypocrites of the first order because they keep doing the same things that they preach that should not be done. Now, this two-nation theory, why, casual communalism, is because this communal aspect towards anything which is not Islamic or not Abrahamical is so given today. It's so just natural. It's given, it's natural, it's way of life. हम अगर हे भगवान बोल दें तो वो कम्युनल हो गया, आप ओ माय गॉड बोले तो वो हो गया। वाह। मैं अगर आज ये बोलता हूं कि मैं कड़ा प्रसाद बनाऊंगा और मैं कड़ा प्रसाद बांटूंगा, तो वो रिग्रेसिव हो गया, इसमें फैट होगा जी। लेकिन ये भूल जाते हैं कि वही कड़ा प्रसाद जो है वो घी की इंडस्ट्री को भी देखेगा, वो लोगों को खिलाएगा भी, एंड दैट इज हेल्दी टू हैव। So there are various things that one can go on to, but the matter which needs to be, and I was listening to Anand and Sushant and Kanchanda, all are very people who have got deep knowledge, but मेरा तो सिंपल सी नॉलेज रहती है साहब। मैं बिल्कुल देसी आदमी हूँ, हरियाणा से आता हूँ, देसी भाषा समझता हूँ, देसी भाषा बोलता हूँ और देसी ही समझाने की कोशिश करता हूँ कि साहब जितने ये हैं, चाहे वो एक अरुण, कुछ आगे कास्ट लगा लो, लेकिन वो प्रैक्टिसिंग इस्लामिस्ट, वो प्रैक्टिसिंग क्राइस्ट है। अब ये चन्नी साहब हैं, हमारे मुख्यमंत्री हैं, जब से बने तब से पूछ रहा हूं कि साहब आप प्रैक्टिसिंग क्रिश्चियन हो, आपने धर्म परिवर्तन करा? नहीं बताएंगे। ऐसे ही जितने और हैं, ये सब के सब वो लोग हैं या जिन्होंने इस्लाम का पालन करा, एंड देयर इज नो प्रॉब्लम इन सेइंग ये वो हिंदू हैं जिनकी आत्मा भी कमजोर थी, जिनका शरीर भी कमजोर था, जिनका मस्तिष्क भी कमजोर था, और उन्होंने अपना धर्म छोड़ के ये दूसरे धर्मों में घुस गए। 7 करोड़ से ऊपर ऐसे हिंदू ऐसे भी थे जिनका तर्पण मीनाक्षी जी के आह्वान पे मैं गया था, कपिल मिश्रा गए थे, हमने 7 करोड़ लोगों को स्मरण करके उनका तर्पण करा है जिन्होंने धर्म नहीं छोड़ा बट अपनी जान छोड़ दी। So communalism is very much a part of life for those who are neo-converts, for those who do not know the depth of religion. Religion is a very in-depth subject. And there should be no problems in being communal to the extent that, yes, you respect your religion, but do not respect the other's religion. किसी और के धर्म का मजाक उड़ाने का अधिकार हमारे को कोई नहीं देता, लेकिन अपने मजहब का, अपने धर्म का एक मजाक उड़वाने का अधिकार भी आपको नहीं मिलता साहब। तुम मेरे भगवान के लिए वो रोस्ट करते हो, शो करते हो, बकवास कोई भी कर दे, गणेश ये था वो था। एक बार मोहम्मद साहब के बारे में बोल के देखिए ना, 2 मिनट में आटे दाल का भाव पता लग जाता है. And that is why I say that these people who talk and preach communalism हो रहा है, साहब आप अगर हिंदू धर्म की बात करते हैं, अरे साहब आप कम्युनलिज्म हम नहीं कर रहे, ये जो आपको सेकुलरवाद का कीड़ा लगा हुआ है, बीमारी लगी हुई है पुश्तों से, ये उसका असर है. These are the side effects of being secular, that you are ready to take dirt on your face. I am not at all saying at any given point to badmouth any religion. I am not there to say, and neither I am suggesting that you should abuse any religion. But if you take abuse on your religion, then there is no other bigger abuse for your very existence. And that is where this last 70 years, people have been giving us, we have been taking, और आज वो बन गया है कि साहब इनको इसके बिना तो नींद नहीं आती, चैन नहीं पड़ता. और जब आप बोलना शुरू होंगे इसके खिलाफ, आपको कम्युनल, आपको सांप्रदायिकवाद का पुजारी, आपको और नाना प्रकार के संज्ञाएं देकर बात करी जाएगी. I think I will continue a little later, but Tariq Saab and Arzu are there, and others are there. I think I'll just give myself a little bit of break and then others can carry on.